Guys, Crystal Thompson here for Unity. I am so excited. Today we are doing some watercolor with markers, doing watercolor markering, and we're going to be doing a beautiful floral from Gracie LA Designs, Autumn Dream. This is a beautiful flower and we're going to be using the Happy Thanksgiving. So within that motif, we're going to be using Thanksgiving colors. You're going to need, of course, the Autumn Dream stamp set, and I have it mounted, it ready to go on watercolor cardstock, and we're going to be using the non-pattern, textured side for it, and I have it on my Misty without the foam. And then we're going to be using Simon Says Stamp fine white embossing powder along with watermark ink, and then you're going to be using, of course, watercolor markers, 2 pieces of black cardstock, and these have been cut and ready to go, and a piece of acetate on an acrylic block for the color for your acrylic watercolors. All right, friends, we are going to begin with our embossing first. So we're going to be doing white for both the sentiment and the watercolor. So this is really going to allow that watercolor to pop up, and it's going to be super pretty and very elegant, yet very... All right, guys, so this is nice and heat embossed. Now we're going to begin with our watercolor. We're going to start with an outline of a color. So we're going to begin with oatmeal. And so we're going to do, I'm going to grab and add the color over on the side, and I'm going to be using it to add the background first so I can really tell where all my beautiful leaves are going to start. So we're going to grab a large water brush, and again we're going to add all the color. This is going to be the background color to our card. Because we are doing a fall theme, I felt that we should use this oatmeal color to just really make the whole thing pop. And I'm going to add a really light wash of it. And then once you use it all up, I'm going to come in and grab some more of it and just keep adding it. And so this beautiful background oatmeal is going to be super nice. Like I said, it's going to make everything else pop, yet it's going to really fulfill that fall look that we're going for. All right, so now that we added our oatmeal, you can see it's just a very light wash. We're going to move on to some leaves. We're going to be using the Zickling color and the olive green, and we're going to grab a smaller water brush. We're going to come in and add color to all of the leaves, and don't worry about it being perfect. There's just a loose watercoloring with the markers. And then don't worry about shadows as well, because then that's what we're going to use the very base of the marker tip to add those shadows, and it's going to make it look super pretty and give it a very dimensional look when you're watercoloring with markers. So we're just going to go ahead and add this olive green to all the leaves that you can see on this beautiful image. And I know that it can be a little bit difficult when heat embossing with white, but it just makes the whole thing so much more elegant in my opinion, and just super pretty. If you want to make it a little easier, a little more beginner friendly, do your heat embossing with a metallic color. Again, you'll have a very elegant look. However, it'll be a little bit easier to add all your colors, and it just make it super pretty and super shiny. Okay, so we've done that olive. We're going to move on, and we're going to grab a really dark red. So this is wine red, and I like to set those aside because I will come in and use those at a later time. So I'm going to be doing the rose image, and this really ended up kind of pink, didn't it? So we might come back and add more color to it, a little darker red, or perhaps a brown, to really give it that fall look that is what we're going for. So we're just gonna dab, and the reason I'm not just like going like this but dabbing the color on is because I want each petal to have a different color or a different variation of the color and make it look a bit more realistic. So as you start adding all your coloring to your florals, you'll see all the other flowers included in the stamp image, and trying not to kind of interact those different colors. So I'm just going to add that. Okay, I'm going to clean off our brush. We're going to switch this around. And now we're going to do an orange. So I'm going to be using this brown, and it's going to come in into orange, as you can see. And we're just going to do, again, a very light wash of the color, and then later on we'll come in with our marker and add the shadows to it. But it's already taking shape into our beautiful fall color. I have some leaves up here. I'm going to add this brown before cleaning off my brush. Clean off the brush. And then we're going to move on to a very, very bright yellow orange. And this is actually called bright yellow. I love the names of the colors here. Just makes it super easy. And let me tell you, as I am coloring this image, I am picking my colors at random. I just have an idea of what I want it to look like. And I think that's the best part about crafting, is when you have an idea in your head and have it come out. And sometimes it's perfect, sometimes it's not. So anyways, this yellow, as you can see, is not as bright as I thought, and that's okay. The reason why is we're going to come in with that watercolor marker here in a minute and add those few embellishments. All right, I'm going to grab this one. This is deep red, and this is going to serve for the little, I don't know what these are, little cranberries. And then we're going to add a little bit. So then we're going to grab it and just add it to the rose. And as you can see, I'm using red on all of my images, and you can't tell it's the same color. All we're doing is adding some shadowing to it. And if you miss anything, that's okay. So as you can see, there's not a ton of that oatmeal color, which is the outer part. So we're going to come in here in a minute and add that, but we're just going to be sure that all of our images are completely dry before we add that oatmeal. And the reason why is that that is such a light wash that we don't want those colors mixing within the other colors. So we're going to finish this up. I'm going to grab my oatmeal, clean off the brush, and then we're going to add that oatmeal color where I missed it earlier, and that's going to really make everything else pop. Okay, I'm going to finish that up. We're going to let it dry, and then we're going to continue on to putting the whole thing together. All right, guys, so my watercolor panel is completely dry, and look how fun. Again, it's not super perfect, and that's okay. That's a whole look we're going for. So watercoloring with markers is super easy, and you're allowed to do these different color variations without spending a ton of time on it. So I've added my Tombow adhesive on the back, and I'm going to mat this over that black cardstock that we had trimmed earlier today. And now we have this really pretty just card panel. Next, we're going to be adding our embellishment, our sentiments. So happy Thanksgiving, sending warm thoughts and wishes. We have trimmed this down. We're going to remove the foam adhesive backing, and in this case, I am just using the little strips of foam that are pre-cut, and then I'm going to mount it. So I'm going to place this right down at the bottom. I'm making sure that it's somewhat even spacing in between this too. And guys, that does it. You can embellish with some clear. I'm going to let this be. I think the beautiful watercolor just really sets it apart. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is Crystal Thompson for Unity Stamp Company. Have an amazing day.